immigrant, came here in 1996, was a legal resident, not a U.S. citizen, is the man who has now admitted that he did the shooting at this church. He killed one in the parking lot, went inside, seriously injured 7 others. It was Sunday. Fired upon the church building after arriving with a handgun, according to the Tennessean. It was the Burnett Chapel Church of Christ in Antioch. Weird things. They still don't know exactly the motive. He hasn't told them the motive. He has admitted that he did it. And he had some weird things posted on Facebook. He was a bodybuilder, and he was showing off his physique with the words unrestricted paroxysm underneath. And that means a sudden attack or violent expression of emotion. He also posted, everything you've ever doubted or made to be believe is false is real, and vice versa. Another one, become the creator instead of what's created. What you say goes. Okay, now that sounds a little creepy and may be part of what's going on here. But what happened was once he got inside, he had a couple handguns. He also had an AR-15, but he didn't have any ammo for that. And he was a licensed unarmed security guard previously. The Friday before the shooting, he renewed that license. Now, there was a hero in this, a 22-year-old usher, Robert Engel. As he heard the shooting, he ran and got in a confrontation, physical confrontation with this guy, and he suffered injuries. The killer pistol whipped him, but through the physical confrontation, he also shot himself. They don't know whether it was accidentally or on purpose. Engel runs out. He's a concealed carry holder. He gets his gun, holds the guy at gunpoint until the cops show up. All right, there's the update. Now let's get in with Emily Taylor, program attorney, U.S. Law Shield, to get some of the details on the gun part of this. Emily, how are you this morning?
Oh, I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Doing really well. Are there any other details that I've missed? I know you've been following this really closely.
You've given a really good summary of it. It was disappointing we didn't see a lot of coverage on this story on Sunday, but I'm glad that you're talking about it today.
Yeah, and there was so much going on over the weekend with the NFL thing. I think that sucked all the oxygen out of the newsroom, but it is a big story. So what part of this, I know you're big on the Second Amendment. I'm a big Second Amendment supporter, and when you hear these things, instantly the gun control people come out and say, aha, see, it was guns. And we just need more restrictions on guns. And what they're never honest about, really, Emily, is they keep saying it's about assault weapons. Well, the guy used 2 handguns. It's about we've got to make sure that these people don't buy them through a loophole or that somehow there wasn't a background check. Well, if this guy was an unarmed security guard, licensed, he'd been through background checks, right?
Absolutely. And, that really is sort of the rub of this whole story is that there's, this wonderful hero in addition to this guy who was compliant with everything we've got going on right now, but generally keeps us safe. And then we've got this wonderful hero who is a concealed carry holder who actually rushes back in with his handgun. And I think it's just a testament to why we should be expanding the handgun licensing laws and making it easier for the good guys to, like we do every day, those licenses, silently carry our weapons and hope that we never have to use them.
Yeah, and if he'd had it on his person instead of in his car, maybe he could have prevented some more of those shootings.
Oh, absolutely. And, I can't say for sure in Tennessee, but in many states, churches are gun-free zones. And, it's amazing to me when we see these shootings over and over and over again in gun-free zones. And it seems to be that there's this knee-jerk reaction from the anti-gun folks, which is create more gun-free zones, which just seems like it's completely counterintuitive.
Well, even saying the words gun-free zone makes you laugh because obviously if there was a shooting there, it wasn't a gun-free zone.
Of course, and that's, the really crazy part about this is that the people who are, and it sounds like from this man's Facebook page that he was really, very odd and maybe a little disturbed, and the people who commit these massacres, if they're willing to go kill a huge group of people, are they really going to respect a no-gun sign or the fact that they're not supposed to enter into that location with their gun? Of course not.
Yeah, that's the one that I always bring up, Emily, that is, but see, we're talking about logic and they're talking about emotion. Because logically, if you're willing to kill somebody, you're willing to break a gun law. You're willing to, it's one of the reasons that the broken windows policing works so well in New York City, because if you're willing to rape somebody, you're willing to spit on the sidewalk. You know, I mean, they're not going to abide by these little laws if they're willing to break huge laws. I don't know if you're familiar with this, Emily, but here in Kansas, we just started allowing concealed carry on college campuses. And the college professors and the left are just going nuts on this. There was one college professor who actually wore a flak jacket to school, and he says he's going to wear it all year. And he said because he's just so scared now that one of his students might have a gun. And I'm like, hello, professor, they could have had a gun before this. It's just you didn't know about it. You still don't know if anybody does, but you know now that somebody could legally. So now you've got people who actually obey the law who have a gun. But the idea that somehow, because they had this law, nobody at any of our college campuses ever brought a gun on campus, it just, are these people really that stupid?
Yes. You know, we have, I am an attorney out of Texas, and we just fought that same campus carry fight last year, and the same reaction from the professors and from the left, which was, you know, this is going to make, you know, students are going to be terrified, they can't say things that they want, we can't have difficult discussions anymore in class, which, you know, of course, if someone were to, you know, licensed handgun carriers don't explode with their handguns. It's not, you know, shoot out at the OK Corral just because there are licensed people carrying guns all around us at all times. Let's be honest. You know, the wonderful part about people who have handgun licenses is you generally never know.
Exactly. And there's what I saw, the latest stats are that concealed handgun permit holders actually have a lower rate of committing crime than police officers commit crimes. I mean, these people don't commit crimes.
They don't. That is absolutely true. And, you know, I'm an independent program attorney for U.S. and Texas Law Shield, and part of what I do every day is answer questions from people who have handgun licenses, and they call in and they need legal advice about generally where they can and cannot carry. And they are so concerned with, is this legal, is this lawful, when do I have to leave it in my car, and they want to follow the law to a T. And I think that really speaks to your point earlier, which is that, you know, the people who are respecting the gun-free zones and the no-gun signs are the good guys, the licensed carriers, because they are so law-abiding. And that really puts them and everyone else in a terrible situation when the criminal blows past a no-gun sign with his firearm intending to do something bad.
Exactly. USLawShield.com is the website if you want more information. Emily Taylor is a program attorney with U.S. Law Shield. And you guys also help people who have had to use their gun concealed carry, right, to make sure that, you know, the law doesn't come after them if they did everything the right way?
Absolutely. Anytime someone has had to use their firearm in self-defense, defense of others, defense of their property perhaps, any lawful use of firearm, people who are members of U.S. and Texas Law Shield have a free attorney, essentially, for anything that could come from that, whether criminal or civil.
From what you've seen from this Tennessee shooting, is there anything in what the gun control advocates have been pushing for new gun laws that would have prevented what this man came in and did at the church?
An absolute abolition of our Second Amendment rights. Right.
That'd be it, right? If you said the only thing really would be like you said, because he passed the stuff. He didn't have a criminal record. You know, he hadn't been put in a mental health facility in a lockdown situation. So all the stuff they're talking about wouldn't do anything, and that's really what you get to, is that there are people who want to just take away the Second Amendment, and they don't really want to admit it.
Exactly, and you know, I mean, it's akin to suspending everyone's driver's license because people die on the road from drunk drivers. You know, the only thing that would make them happy would be sweeping up and abusing everyone's rights in order to control this small group of, you know, people who are criminals or who are not mentally stable, and that's just not how our country operates.
Emily, thanks. We appreciate it. USLawShield.com. If you need more, all the best.
Thank you so much.
Tennessee church killer admitting to the crime, and it was a man with a concealed carry weapon who tackled him, didn't have it on him in the church. After a physical confrontation with him, he ran out, got the gun, came back and held him at gunpoint until the police arrived. No idea how many people really he may have saved. This guy had 2 guns, and he had ammo, and this guy's a hero. And he, by the way, said, I'm not a hero. Please don't say I'm a hero. I just did what I thought I had to do, and the real heroes are the first responders. What a guy. 816-576-7710 to get you in. This is the Greg Knapp Experience.
Greg Knapp.